Imagine a world where everything you know about history is wrong. What if the greatest events that shaped our civilization didn't start with the first written word, but in the shadows long before history even began? Hidden secrets buried for thousands of years, forgotten empires, mysterious discoveries that schools never teach. Today, we're uncovering the shocking truth that changes everything. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will blow your mind.
In the quiet rustle of autumn leaves across the cracked sidewalks of a forgotten Midwest town where dreams seemed to wither like the cornfields under a relentless sun, young Alex stared at the old family farmhouse, its paint peeling like forgotten memories, the air heavy with the scent of rain-soaked earth. An unspoken sorrow. His father had passed away suddenly, a heart attack in the dead of night, leaving behind a mountain of debts, and a mother whose eyes had lost their spark. Alex, barely 18, felt the weight of the world pressing down the American dream they said was out there, but here it felt like a cruel whisper carried away by the wind. He wiped away a tear, vowing silently to hold everything together, yet deep inside a storm brewed, sad and unrelenting, pulling him into the abyss of uncertainty. Nights blurred into days as Alex juggled two jobs, flipping burgers at the local diner where the grease clung to his skin like regret, and stocking shelves at the corner store under flickering fluorescent lights that hummed like distant thunder. His mother's frail form huddled on the couch, wrapped in a blanket that once belonged to his father, her cough echoing through the empty rooms like a haunting melody. Bills piled up on the kitchen table, red ink screaming demands they couldn't meet. Friends drifted away, their laughter fading into the distance, leaving Alex alone with his thoughts, the sadness wrapped around his heart, a cold embrace. But in those quiet moments, he dreamed of escape, of rising above the ruins, a flicker of motivation igniting like a spark in the darkness, urging him forward. One crisp morning, as the sun painted the sky in hues of gold and promise, Alex packed a worn duffel bag with the few possessions that mattered, a faded photo of his family, smiling under better times, a notebook filled with scribbled hopes, and his father's old watch, its ticking, a reminder that time waited for no one. He kissed his mother goodbye, her eyes brimming with tears that spoke of love and fear, whispering promises to send money back home. The bus ride to New York City stretched endlessly. Fields giving way to highways, then skyscrapers piercing the heavens like giants. The city pulsed with energy, a symphony of honking horns and bustling crowds. Yet beneath the glamour, Alex felt the sting of isolation, a sad melody in his soul. But the motivation burned brighter, the American spirit calling him to chase what seemed impossible. Stepping off the bus into the whirlwind of Times Square, lights flashing like artificial stars, Alex's heart raced with a mix of awe and terror, the streets alive with people from every corner of the world. Yet he was invisible, a ghost in the crowd, his first night spent on a park bench, the cold seeping through his thin jacket as rain drizzled down like tears from the sky. Jobs were scarce, his resume thin as paper, rejections piling up like fallen leaves. The sadness deepened when hunger gnawed at his insides and loneliness whispered doubts. But in the quiet hours, he watched the city never sleep and found a thread of motivation in its relentless drive, vowing to carve his place in this unforgiving world. Weeks turned to months of scraping by crashing on strangers' couches and eating from discount bins, until one rainy afternoon in a crowded coffee shop where the aroma of fresh brew mingled with the hum of conversations, Alex met Elena, an older woman with kind eyes and a story etched in her wrinkles. She owned a small bookstore tucked away in Brooklyn, its shelves groaning under the weight of forgotten tales. Noticing his worn appearance, she offered him a job organizing books and sharing stories with Customers her own life, a tapestry of loss, having fled war-torn lands to rebuild in America. The sadness in her voice mirrored his own, yet her words carried motivation like a gentle wind, pushing him to believe in second chances. Under Elena's guidance, Alex dove into the world of books, devouring histories of great Americans who rose from ashes. Lincoln's perseverance, King's unyielding dream, their stories fueling his own. He learned to write his thoughts, pouring out on paper the pain of his past, transforming into raw emotional prose. But failures came swift, a rejected manuscript from a publisher stinging like salt in a wound, doubts creeping back like shadows at dusk. The sadness threatened to overwhelm him. Nights spent staring at the ceiling, tears silent and heavy, yet Elena's encouragement, a motivational anchor, reminded him that every great story had its dark chapters, urging him to keep turning the page. Rock bottom arrived unannounced when news came from home, his mother's health failing, the hospital bills mounting like an insurmountable wall. Alex rushed back on a borrowed ticket, finding her pale and weak in a sterile room, the beeps of machines a cruel rhythm to his breaking heart. He sold his father's watch, the last tether to the past, to cover costs. The sadness crashed over him like a tidal wave, drowning him in guilt and despair. Back in the city, eviction loomed, his dreams crumbling like old bricks. But in that deepest dark, a spark ignited, fierce and unyielding motivation born from the pain, whispering that surrender was not an option. Inspired by the stories he cherished, Alex poured his soul into a new manuscript, weaving his own tale of loss and resilience into a novel that captured the raw essence of the American struggle. Elena read it, her eyes misty with pride, connecting him to a small publisher who saw potential. The book hit shelves quietly at first, but word spread, reviews praising its emotional depth and motivational core. Sales trickled, then surged. The sadness lingered, a companion to his journey, but now transformed into fuel, propelling him forward. Interviews came, speaking of his path from small-town despair to city triumph, inspiring others in their own battles. With success came stability, money sent home to care for his mother, who smiled again, her strength returning like spring after winter. Alex bought back the family farmhouse, restoring it brick by brick, a symbol of renewal. He traveled, speaking at schools and events, his voice carrying the motivational fire that once saved him, sharing how sadness could forge unbreakable resolve. The American audience resonated with his story of grit and heart. Crowds applauding not just the man, but the spirit that refused to break. Yet in quiet moments, he remembered the pain, honoring it as the foundation of his rise. Years later, standing on a stage under bright lights, Alex looked out at faces young and hopeful, much like his own once was. He spoke of the journey, the sad valleys and motivational peaks that define the human experience, urging them to embrace their struggles as stepping stones to greatness. The American dream, he realized, was not a destination, but relentless pursuit forged in the fires of adversity. As applause thundered around him, he felt a profound peace, the emotional flow of his life, a cinematic tapestry of loss and triumph, inspiring all who heard to chase their own horizons with unyielding heart.